Welcome to Crafty Beach. This is Julie. Today I have 30 Dollar Tree Christmas DIYs for you from the Crafty Vault. I have a little bit of everything in today's video and I really hope that you enjoy it. I wanted to take some of the Dollar Tree plastic party bowls and I wanted to make some giant Christmas ornaments using some little party cups and some shower rings from the Dollar Tree. These are going to be for my yard. I'm going to use spray paint on the inside of them to make them colored. I don't want these to light up. I'm just going to put some giant Christmas ornaments by my palm tree out front in the yard, and I think they are going to be so fun. I made a coastal version of this in a prior video, and I loved it, so I knew I needed to make some for my yard. I'm going to use the spray paint on the inside of the bowl. That way it doesn't fill in any of the texture and it's going to weather better. I have this pretty color of green and spray paint that I thought would be pretty for Christmas. And I just make sure I get a good coating all over the inside of it, but leaving the outside just plastic. So you see that beautiful design on the Dollar Tree bowl. I'm going to do the same thing here for the other half of it. And I think these work so well for the giant ornaments because they're so rounded. A lot of the party bowls from the Dollar Tree are more boxy, and then you don't get that like straight circle shape. And I think these definitely work better, and they're so pretty. So I'm going to do a couple of these for my yard, and I'm going to use shower rings for the little hanger and one of those little rounded party cups for the top of the ornament. I just need to find a way to attach it. I'm going to burn some holes with my hot knife without the blade on there that I got on Amazon. I have this linked in my Amazon shop if you're in the market for one of these. I think I paid about $20 for it, but I'm using it all the time with crafting. I love it. The only problem is the holes were a little bit large for the shower ring, and I don't want it to leak, so I'll show you what I do about that. I just go ahead and reattach the shower ring to itself on the inside, and I want it to look metallic. So I'm going to use some spray paint again. I have some silver metallic spray paint, and I'm going to use that on there, but that's when I realized the holes were a little too big, and I don't want water to gather in here since I'm going to be putting these out in my yard. So what I did was I used some duct tape here on the back to kind of close the hole in and keep that shower ring in place. And then I used a little bit of spackle first here to fill up the gap with the duct tape being the back. So I don't know how good of a fix this is, but I didn't really want to try to drill through that thin plastic from the Dollar Tree. I think the heat gun would work better. And you could also use, I guess, the tip of your hot glue gun if it would work. You might get a smaller hole and you might not have to patch it. But I just sprayed it with the silver metallic spray paint. And now it's time to put it together. I do want it to be outdoors though, so I want to weigh down the bottom half so it doesn't fly around my yard. So I just put some Dollar Tree pebbles in the bottom. You can use whatever you've got. And then I'm using a strong adhesive. This is a Gorilla Glue clear grip. You could also use like E6000 for this. You're not going to want to use probably hot glue since it's going to be outside. At least it still gets hot here in Florida, I know. And then I'm going to carefully put the top of the ornament on. I like to try to line mine where the little points are aligned. And then I just use a wet wipe to try to get any glue that might have seeped out. This is the top of the ornament. I'm not going to do a string or anything on it. I'm just going to add this. I kind of figure out exactly where it needs to be. And then I use some of the Gorilla Glue here and just sit the topper on. And these are so whimsical and fun. Look how cool that is. A giant Christmas ornament. I love it. If you were going to buy something like this, it would definitely cost you a lot more than what I spent at the Dollar Tree putting this together. I think that green is really pretty too. I'm going to do a set of these so I can have two at least, but you know what? I would do as many as you want for your front yard because you can just kind of scatter them around. It's going to look really cool. Isn't this so pretty? I love it. I made a frosted version for a coastal version in a previous video. So if you want a coastal version, you'll have to check out that video. So I'm going to do the same thing here for my second one. Now, ideally, I would like to do a red one and a green one, but I had no red spray paint. So we're going to do blue. I think that's going to be a fun Christmas ornament color for this one. And we're going to make it work. And I have all the other DIYs I made for my front yard. All has red, like the red candy sucker, the red lollipop. I have a red gumdrop out there. So I think it'll be nice to have some different colors besides just red. So this is the color I'm using. It's a very like kind of royal blue. I think it's pretty. And I'm going to just spray the inside again, just like we did before, making sure I get a good coating. Now, if you wanted to light yours up, you could use like some battery operated lights or even some wired lights. If you like poked a hole in the bowl for the cord. But you're not going to want to use spray paint on it then. You'd want to use more of like the frosting spray paint. Or like a tint or something like that. You could mix acrylic with Mod Podge too to kind of get that technique. But these are just ornaments, not lit up, so I don't have to worry about being able to see through the ornaments. Again, I'm going to use my hot knife without the blade attached to burn 2 little holes there in the plastic cup. And use the shower ring and attach it there in the middle. And even though the holes are too big, I'm going to do the same thing I did before. Just use some duct tape to kind of provide a back for the bottom of the hole, and then use some spackle to fill that in before I go in to paint them. Again, my hot glue gun, that Ryobi hot glue gun, doesn't work well for melting holes, but if you have a different kind of glue gun, that might work better to get you a smaller hole, but then again, it might not be big enough. I really don't know those thin party plastic bowls like that from the Dollar Tree, the little cups, whether that you can drill through those or not. I'm thinking heat's definitely the way to go to melt the plastic. Again, I'm going to spray mine with some silver metallic. I think silver metallic or gold metallic, either one is going to look really good there for the top of the ornament. And again, I'm going to weigh this one down with some pebbles. I'm going to kind of like stack these, you know, like where they're not like flat on their back. You can kind of like tilt them a little bit to provide a little bit of personality when I'm displaying those out in my yard. And again, I'm using the Gorilla Glue clear grip around here. It works really well. It's kind of like E6000. I don't find it clogs as much as E6000. And it's pretty strong. Again, I go ahead and put the top on there, lining that up, wiping off the excess glue, and then all we have left to do is attach the top. They're so fun to do. I've seen lots of people, lots of takes on these on Facebook, and I knew I had to make some giant ornaments for my yard. And if you're willing to spend like thousands of dollars, you can get some giant ones of these for your yard, but I'm okay with the Dollar Tree version. I just attached that with glue. Again, this is what it looks like. So pretty. I love it with it being painted on the inside like that. It doesn't take away any of those beautiful details there on the bowl. And even though I didn't wanted to do red, I really appreciate that blue color. I think it's really pretty. And I will also show you what the 2 of the ornaments look like together. And kind of what I'm talking about, how you can kind of like have one kind of like tilted off to the side like that, right? Isn't this so pretty? I love it. It's so fun. And I did need a few more pieces of Christmas decor, I think, out in my yard. If you're enjoying today's video, be sure to hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe. We're so close to 50,000 subscribers, and I would really appreciate a hype on this video. Now for the next DIY, we're going to take a floor mat. This is one of the floor mats from Dollar Tree. It says North Pole Tree Farm. It's got white trees on it, and it's a green rug. I thought this would make a perfect giant sign to go outside my house above my bench to kind of welcome you to our house for the holidays. Now, I do want it to be sturdier than just a thin rug, so I also picked up a piece of the Dollar Tree foam board, and I thought we could attach the rug simply to the foam board to make a heavy-duty sign. And this is kind of under a little eave on my house, but it actually held up to the weather really well. Of course, the rug is very durable and weatherproof, but it pretty much hides the foam board, so I didn't really have to worry about the paper.
I just lay it right on top of my foam board and then just use a razor blade to cut that down to size. Easy peasy. This is another 5-minute or less DIY. So once I get that cut down to size, it's just a matter of attaching our little North Pole tree farm on there, trying to make sure that it is as flat as I can get it. You know, the foam board does bow a little bit sometimes, so I try to put it on the side that's going to make it lay the flattest. And then we're just going to do a bead of hot glue along the foam board here. Yes, the foam board does kind of melt a little bit, but with the paper covering on there and you work quickly, it does pretty good. So I did 2 rows of hot glue with a little on the side so we can start securing this. And then we can just go down and glue it kind of wherever I really think it's going to need a little bit of structure to keep it on there, and just glue it down. And you have a durable outdoor sign, a really nice size and really pretty. Now, you could leave it as is. I did kind of want to frame mine out a little bit and do like a little ribbon frame, if you will. So I'm just going to use some red and white gingham ribbon from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to simply frame this out just to bring a little red, and so it'll be red and green for my little Christmas DIY, and just added a little bit of character. So I just cut that down to size, and we're just going to glue this all the way around. Now, you do need to be careful hot gluing the ribbon. Sometimes it can kind of come through and cause a mess, but this one actually seemed to work out pretty well. Just trying to get that as straight as I can before my glue sets up, and then I'm just going to continue that all the way around our giant sign. And you can just kind of overlap the corners a little bit. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the ribbon is, you know, just a little bit extra. You could always leave it plain without. I think that would look really cute too. These little rugs from the Dollar Tree though are very versatile. You can always make a DIY out of them. So don't sleep on these. They're really cute. I have got this all put together. Just going to kind of clean up any fuzz off of this with a little lint roller. We're going to flip it over. And again, I used some of the double-sided foam tape from the Dollar Tree to secure this. Now, you might want to use something a little bit more removable because this did kind of stick to my house. The foam tape, it did have a little trouble removing that part, but it definitely kept it up for the entire holiday season. This is how it looks on the outside of my house. I have it like in my entryway area above my bench, slightly protected, but not really. But as you can see, it looks really cute for a giant sign. And it's kind of fun that it's got like that texture of a rug as well. And that's how it looks on the side of my house.
Okay, now these are the Dollar Tree wood ornament slices.
And we're going to use our cricut to make some fun little beachy ornaments. Now, you can see they're a little bit different sizes, but we're going to make them work. This one had a little water damage, so we're not going to use that one because I want the exposed wood on this one. I don't really want you to be able to see the water damage. Just going to use my new Cricut Joy Extra to cut down some vinyl. I wanted to do some snowflakes to go on each one because I want them to be coastal, but I want them to have a little bit of a winter feel. So we're just going to add some white vinyl snowflakes to these, and then we can add some sea creatures. And as you can tell, this is HTV and not vinyl. These are the iron-on. I'm going to show you how you can do the iron-on on wood. Now for the sea creatures, I'm going to use this prismatic glitter vinyl from Cricut and this like mint green color. I thought this would be so perfect. I cut out a sea turtle and a seahorse, and I think they turned out so pretty with that prismatic glitter. They shimmer and shine. I can't wait to see what they look like with my Christmas lights this year. So I do have these designs saved under Cricut Design Space, and I will post the links to those as well. You will have to have a membership, or you'll have to buy the files because this is an official Cricut project. Now, I went on the Cricut Heat Guide. It told me 300 degrees for 45 seconds. Now, not all wood is the same with HTV, and so you kind of have to take that in mind. I just let mine cool, and mine were pretty well down with the time, but I did notice when I went to add the glitter, I did have to add extra time. These are where you kind of have to like wait until it's cold to peel it off. So it does require a little bit of patience. And this one said 315 for 30 seconds. And I'm just using my Cricut Easy Press, and that's when it wasn't stuck. So I just went in with my smaller Cricut iron and tried to apply more heat. But you totally can use HTV on wood, and it's a great use for these little wood slice ornaments from the Dollar Tree. Look at that shimmer and shine. I thought these were so fun to put together, and I really had a good time doing the little sea turtle and the seahorse, two of my favorite little creatures. Now these also come with hangers, so I'm just going to go ahead and string the hangers back on. And these are complete, our two little glitter sea creature ornaments. I think these are going to look great displayed together. These would be a great gift idea as well. And I kind of designed the snowflakes where they would kind of be in the background of each creature. Here is our little seahorse with snowflakes. Look at that glitter. And our little sea turtle glimmering as well. So remember that you can totally use the HTV on your wood ornaments too, instead of vinyl. And it kind of gives you a little bit different feel. Seems to stick a little flatter. The only problem that I had was trying to get enough heat to make sure that it was super attached. Okay, on to the 5-minute DIYs. We're gonna make some giant Christmas ornaments for my window, and these turned out so cute. So I found this great gift bag. I thought it would be a perfect Christmas ornament. So I picked up some Christmas ornament signs, and we're gonna DIY them. This one has like the little metal piece I just take off with a little bit of heat, and then we can just cover up the gnome part. It doesn't matter what's on this part of the ornament. Then I'm going to take my beautiful gift bag that I got at Dollar Tree. It's got this great diamond print. It's red, it's very metallic, and it's going to be so cute as a giant Christmas ornament. So I just cut the first piece down, and then I thought we could just attach that to the ornament, covering up what was on there. And I noticed that Dollar Tree did come out with some blanks this year. And, you know, they liked this video last year when I did it, Dollar Tree did. And then they came out with something similar this year. And I was like, I see you, Dollar Tree. I see you watching. But I do a Mod Podge all over the front of my little ornament. And then I just lay the gift bag right on top. Look at that beautiful pattern. I love it. I wanted it to be like kind of diamond shaped. And then just gluing that on all around. Now you can cut it down first if you want to. I thought I would just glue it first and then use a sanding block to give myself a perfect cut. Now I don't know if it's because my sanding block was dull or the paper on the gift bag was extra thick, but it was a little bit harder than it usually is to do that. So might have to switch it up on my next project. But with a little bit elbow grease, I was able to get that sanded down to the perfect circle for our Christmas ornament. And then I saved a little metal part for the top of the ornament. And I told you these were going to be 5-minute DIYs, so these are going to be nice, quick, and easy. So I just hot glue that right to the top. And then I just need to make like an ornament hanger. We're going to be hanging these in my large window in my dining area of my home for Christmas. I thought these would be the perfect window decorations. So I found some white glitter ribbon at the Dollar Tree. I thought that would be super cute to decorate this with. It's nice and sparkly. So the first thing I do is just tie a little bow here just to make a quick little decoration for the top of my Christmas ornament, just to give it a little bit more decor, and we can just kind of have that come down in front, just making sure my tails are about the right length, and just a little cute little adornment right here. And now we can string it up. I'm going to use that same ribbon and just tie that onto the little hanger here, just making a simple knot to make sure it's strong. And then we can use that ribbon to tie that to my curtain rod, and we can have this dangle down in front of my window. So I just make sure I cut off enough, and I'm going to go hang this on my window, and I will show you how it looks. This is going to be the first one, and we're going to do a whole window of these giant ornaments with all different kinds of ideas, so you can kind of mix and matchers and get a variety of Christmas ornament signs as well. But this is the red metallic one made with a gift bag. So 2 items from the Dollar Tree there, plus a little ribbon, and I hung that on my curtain rod. Now we're gonna do kind of the same thing on this one. It's another one of the Christmas ornament signs from Dollar Tree. Again, doesn't matter which one. And then I found another beautiful gift bag from Dollar Tree. This one's going to be in a silver. So again, the little metal part on the top of the ornament, super easy to pop off. We're just going to add a little heat here and pop that off. And then we can add the gift bag to the front. Now, we're not just doing gift bags for these. We're going to be doing all different shapes and textures with these, with lots of different items from the Dollar Tree. Again, I just want to cover up the image that was on there, so I'm just going to go ahead and cut off the front of these bags. They're nice and large, so they are plenty big enough to do this DIY until I have a sheet of this beautiful paper. That's when I learned my lesson, and I said, you know what? It would probably be easier to go ahead and cut this first. So I'm just going to lay that on the back of the gift bag, and just using an ink pen, we're just going to sketch this out. That way we don't have to do all that sanding through that thick metallic like cardboard type paper. That way we can just cut it out in advance and one step saved. So I just cut out just a complete circle because again, that top part's going to have the little ornament hanger. And this time I just decided to hot glue mine on because it's nice and thick. I think that's going to glue on there without any problem. You could always use Mod Podge for that as well if you wanted. And then we're going to hot glue our little ornament topper here to the top. So this one is still metallic. It's got that bright silver. This time it's a square pattern instead of a diamond. I'm using that same white glitter ribbon just to make a simple bow for the top of this one as well. Hot gluing that to the base of our little ornament holder. And then again, using that same ribbon to tie our ornament to my curtain rod. I'm going to have these all different lengths and all hanging together in a large group in that giant window. And they all are like very metallic, classic Christmas colors. They remind me of vintage Christmas ornaments. And this is the beautiful silver. See how shiny those gift bags are? I thought these provided the best texture for the ornaments. And this is how it looks hanging next to the red one that we already DIY'd. Now, this is also the gift bag. I picked up another one of the ornaments. It's a gnome one, doesn't matter. But this is a diamond print too, but this time it's that royal blue metallic. And I thought that would be really pretty too, because that is a classic Christmas color too. We're doing like the multicolor vibe on this. So we just pop off our little ornament holder and we're going to do the same thing we did before, just cutting off the front of the gift bag and cutting this down to size. And we're just going to put this little Christmas ornament sign together too. And again, all 10 of these DIYs we're doing right now took me less than 5 minutes to do. So they're quick and easy if you need some Christmas decorations, but you're kind of short on time. Hot glue seemed to work well, so we're going to do that again, gluing our little piece on here and gluing our ornament holder, and we've got it down to a science now. I think this is the last one that I did with gift bags. We're going to try a few different textures for the other ornaments. But again, I kept with the same white glitter ribbon to make a bow and a hanger for this ornament as well. So let's take this to the window and hang this with the others that we just made. Look how beautiful that blue color looks. Absolutely love it. And I hung this one kind of on the other side. Again, I want them all different elevations, so I'm hanging them all at different lengths, and I'm just hanging them directly to my curtain rod that I have at the top of this window. So that's what it looks like so far. I kind of stair-stepped them down. The other ones are going to be a little bit more random. Now, this is a plain wood ornament sign from Dollar Tree, a little bit different shape. I thought that'd be fun to mix it up. It's kind of got this like teardrop shape, I guess. And then I thought we could use some of the self-adhesive wall tile from the hardware section at Dollar Tree for another great texture. This has that beautiful like stamped 10 pattern on it. And I thought this could be really pretty as well. So I'm going to just kind of measure it on the back like I did before. I just used a Sharpie to kind of sketch out my ornament right here on the back. Now this is a self-adhesive tile. It can be a little tricky though, because when you cut it in a shape that's not like, you know, the square, you're going to lose the attachment of this sticky part to the tile. So kind of keep that in mind. And I'm just cutting mine down to that classic ornament shape. And I thought it'd be fun just to make some of the ornaments like different styles. So this is definitely going to be a different one. But I want to make it that bright classic colors as well. This is what I'm talking about. See, no longer really attached. So might as well just take the whole thing off and just leave the metal tile. I was trying to decide if I should glue it back on, but it's really not necessary. And this is going to fit perfectly on our little ornament. So again, I'm just going to use hot glue all around the edges, a little bit here in the middle, and glue that on. But be careful, that plastic does kind of melt a little bit. You might not want to use hot glue. Just be careful. You can kind of see the ridges that it caused in there. I was hoping it would be a little bit more durable than that, but that's okay. I think we can make it work. I just poke a hole back in the little ornament where the sign had a little hanger. And we are going to paint this one metallic gold. Since we had all the other colors, we've had metallic silver. So this is just a metallic gold acrylic that I picked up at Dollar General. And we're just going to paint this all over to make this look like a classic gold textured ornament. And it just turned out so beautiful. I was using a foam sponge, so just trying to get down in between all the different layers of this. And one thing when you're doing a metallic color, you might want to go over it with a couple of coats to get that beautiful color of gold that you see there. Now my hanger is smaller, so I had to switch it up. So this time we're going to use some Dollar Tree yarn instead of the ribbon because there was no way I was going to be able to get that through there to hang it. But to kind of keep the same theme, I do still make the bow out of that white glitter ribbon that we did on all the other ornaments. This one's just going to be hanging with yarn instead of the ribbon. Isn't that so beautiful? Here is our gold metallic Christmas ornament. Another 5 minute or less Dollar Tree DIY. I love that texture. I love crafting all seasons with those little tiles. They're so much fun. And that looks really good next to my little silver ornament. We're going to hang that one right over here to the left. And I really only have room for one more. So again, I found another one of the little teardrops. And again, we're going to be using another one of those self-adhesive tiles. But this time we're going to change it up, different kind of color, different kind of vibe on this one to finish off that classic Christmas color scheme that we're decorating the window with. And I'm so glad that I DIY'd these. I think they turned out so pretty and they were so fun to do. So again, I just cut it out, just keeping the top part, hot gluing that to our little ornament sign. All of those steps are the same. Poking a hole in there, but this time we're going to do green. We haven't done any green, and so I don't have a green metallic, but I do have this beautiful shade of green. So I just go over the entire ornament with a brush, and then to try to make it glossy, since you can tell it's totally not glossy, I'm just using gloss Mod Podge all over it to try to give it a little bit of shine, and I think that helped. Again, I'm going to use some of the white yarn from Dollar Tree to make a simple little hanger and finish it off with a white glitter bow. And this is going to be the final ornament for my window. I love how they all look together. They're so pretty. And each piece is a little bit unique. So here is our little green ornament sign. And then I can show you how it all looks together. I think it turned out so beautiful. And it was really easy to put together. For mine, I had a rather big window, so I used 5 to fill up my window. But again, if you had a smaller window, 3 would totally be enough. But I love how they look. They kind of move a little bit, you know, depending on what's going on in the house. And I think they look just like giant Christmas ornaments. What do you guys think?
I really love how those turned out. And who doesn't love a quick 5 minute Dollar Tree Christmas DIY?
I wanted to make like a little Scandinavian inspired box Christmas tree. And I thought one of these little triangle signs from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. Now, I've crafted with these before, and usually if you can just find a corner, a little bit of loose glue, you can just pop the backs off. You can cover them with whatever you want. But man, this one was made well. I tried that. I tried heat. Nothing was going to take this off. And then I'm like, you know what? It's probably nailed on. So I'm just going to use a hammer and I'm going to tap on the sign, and that totally popped it right off. So to save you some time, because I was struggling with that one. Now, once I get it off, I'm going to kind of clean up some of the ripped paper that kind of came off with it too. I don't want any of that to be visible. And what I want to do is make it into a Christmas tree with like cutouts and like a cool pattern that you would see like in a Scandinavian Christmas decor. But I'm actually going to give a little coastal twist to mine. That's one reason I really love like the Scandinavian and the hygge feel, is because it goes so nicely with coastal and it's very similar. Lots of woods, lots of white, lots of greenery. And so the wood frame on this is perfect. Now I'm going to go into my Cricut to cut the paper, and I wanted to show you how I did this in case you're not too sure about your Cricut design space. You can go in there and just choose a free shape, like I chose a free triangle, and I measured it, and you can make it a custom size. Mine happened to be square, but if it's not, you could always just unlock that and make it whatever size you need it to be. Now, I told you I was going to do a coastal version on mine, and I'll be sure to share this project in the description below if you want to do a coastal version as well. But I kind of want to show you how I put mine all together, because I know my way around Cricut design space. I wouldn't say I'm fantastic at it, but I know how to do some really fun things. So I'm going to show you how I put this together. So I picked just a simple, seahorse silhouette and a shell. I went into contour to cut out the extra pieces from the shell because I just want it to be one cutout, something super easy. I just want coastal things. So I did a seahorse, I did a seashell, and then I thought a sea turtle would be great. So this one's really good. It's got all the detail, but it's an easy cut for my Cricut. And I kind of want to do a pattern up the Christmas tree. For the last one, I thought maybe just one more shell, and I think this one will work. So once I get them on, I just change the color of them so they're all the same color. And then I'm just going to kind of grab those, resize them, move them around wherever I want. I just want to do kind of a cool little pattern like you would see like on a Scandinavian design. And I'm going to kind of repeat the pattern going down. So one shell on top. Then we could have two little seahorses below that. And don't be afraid to play around with them and get them just like you want. And then I'm going to copy and paste. So we have 3 seashells, and then let's do 4 of the sea turtles. Once I get them all on my little triangle, which I'm not going to cut out the triangle, I'm just going to go row by row and center them vertically so they are lined up perfectly. Then I go in and grab every single one of them over here on the right, and I'm going to combine them with the weld feature. It's going to make them all one file. I select that and my triangle and hit the slice button. It's going to give me a perfect triangle cut out, right, with all of those things. I delete the other layers and I can just cut this. I'm actually going to use the glitter cardstock function because I found some glitter cardstock at Dollar Tree and we can cut it out. So whenever you're working with paper in your Cricut, you're going to want to try to use a light grip mat if you have it. It's just going to work a little bit better for you, going to be easier to get the paper off. But this glitter cardstock, look how pretty it is. It's white glitter cardstock. I got this at Dollar Tree in a little package with other colors, and I took it and cut it. So let me show you how it turned out. I'm just going to go ahead and weed off the excess cardstock. And I think my items were pretty good. The seashell had a little bit of feathering from being cut so small on the little lines that go down inside, but I was really pleased with how this worked. So I'm just going to erase this using the mat. Will automatically weed all the items out, and I have all those cool shapes too that I could reuse for another project. How cute is that, right? And it's the perfect size for our little tree. So I'll set that aside. I might use those later. And I just kind of need to attach that now to the front of the sign. So yeah, the only one I kind of had to trim up here was the seashells. They were just a little feathery because they were cut so skinny there at the end. But otherwise, all the shapes turned out pretty good. It was kind of just exactly what I wanted. And I'm making sure that I have it cut down to size. And we're actually going to make this light up. My first thought was to put LED candles in there, but I end up using Christmas lights. So I'll show you that. Since this is paper, I'm just going to use a glue stick to attach it. I thought that'd probably be plenty strong enough. And so I just put glue stick all around the edges where it's going to overlap the frame and push the glitter cardstock right on top. Now you can do this with any kind of pattern, any kind of color scheme, whatever you want. Now, you don't really have to have a trunk on them, but I kind of wanted to do a trunk, so I'm going to use some of the little mini Jenga blocks from Dollar Tree, a total of 4 here, and kind of piece those together to make a trunk. I'm going to add onto this project a little later, and I will have to kind of build this out a little bit, but this was my first attempt at a tree trunk for a little Christmas tree. So that all looks good. So now I want to work on the back. I thought if I get the back wet, it would be easier to kind of scrape off the ripped paper, and it kind of worked. I'm probably not going to get it all off, but if I can at least get anything off that's going to interfere with the next layer of paper, I think it's going to be better. Now, I also found some colored cardstock from Dollar Tree. I love it when I find colored cardstock there, or any kind of scrapbook paper at all, because it's kind of hard to find at Dollar Tree, right? And I'm going to use this beautiful like mint green color. I thought this looked really coastal. It would go great with my decor. And we're just going to cut out a simple triangle here to cover the back. That way, it's going to be lit up at night, so it's going to be really pretty. But during the day, I want it to be pretty as well. So it'll have this nice like mint green, beachy color behind all of those cutout shapes. So once I get it cut down to size, I'm just going to simply Mod Podge this on. And you can use any kind of paper glue for this as well, but I love Mod Podge, so I'm just going to do a nice coat all over and stick the cardstock right on top. Pushing that down, and then I told you I wanted to light it up. I didn't really think I was going to be able to put a back on it and do the candle, and I really kind of wanted a back on it. So we're going to use some of the little LED Christmas lights from Dollar Tree. These come in all different colors. This is the white set. And I think one strand is going to be plenty to light up this little Christmas tree box. And it's got the battery pack, so you do have to put a couple batteries in there. AA is the size on this one, and you can see how nice they light up. Now, for some reason, mine didn't have a screw on the battery pack. I don't know why, but I actually had a little screw. You know, my work desk has about everything from DIYing, and so I screwed that on to the back. Now, I kind of just want to go back and forth on this. I just need to find a way to attach the lights to the back of the Christmas tree. So I thought I should start like in the middle of the bottom. That way I can make the battery case go out behind the project. And I tried using like just some little sticky tape to attach it, and that didn't really want to work too well. I wanted something that you wouldn't really be able to see through the cutout, so I ended up using hot glue. At first I was worried that that might like kind of melt the plastic around the wires and stuff like that, but it seemed to work. I just used a little tiny dots, just kind of where I needed to position it. And you kind of have to pay attention when you're working with these, where exactly your light bulbs are going to be, so you can kind of spread those out evenly. And as you can see, I'm just kind of going back and forth. Not too much because I want to cover the entire back. I probably went a little too far over to the edges because I wasn't really thinking about the frame sitting on top of there. So keep that in mind. You might want to give yourself a little clearance around the edges for your lights. And all the way to the top, just hot gluing that down just with little tiny dots of hot glue. And you'll be able to see the light strings in the daytime, but not too much. I think you'll be able to see the blue color, so that'll be pretty. And then it's just a matter of putting it all together. I found you had to be really quick with this step. I'm going to hot glue all around the edges of the little triangular tree and pop this on as fast as I can, trying to block off any light that might escape out of the back of it. Now, once I got that on there, I kind of need to figure out some way to disguise the battery pack. And I thought, you know what? I can hide it just by attaching it to the back of the tree. That would be the easiest option. So I just glued it where I could still access the batteries to change that out, and glued the cord to the back. Now, I thought I was done with it, but the only thing is by adding that battery pack to the back, I kind of made it like where it wanted to tip over a little bit. So I'm going to extend that little tree trunk out a little bit more to the back here with 2 more of the little Jenga blocks, and that made it stand up perfectly. And so our first DIY is complete, a little Scandinavian Christmas tree with a coastal touch. It's got this beautiful intricate pattern cut out in the Christmas tree and very simple shape of the Christmas tree. This is how mine looks during the daytime. You can see that beautiful blue peering through. We have the natural wood there for the tree trunk and the sides of it. And this is how it looks lit up. It's so pretty. I love making Christmas DIYs that light up. I love lights for Christmas. And this would look really pretty too in the blue. They have a blue light as well in those little battery operated lights from the Dollar Tree. Daytime and nighttime. The next DIY, this might be my favorite. I found an old piece of driftwood at the beach. I just needed something straight. If you don't have any driftwood, you could always use a stick or even like a plunger handle or something like that. You just need something straight across the top. And then we're going to use some of the little wood slice ornaments from the Dollar Tree. Now, these are the actual ornaments that have holes already drilled in them, but you could also use their ones that don't have the holes drilled in them because we're actually going to have to drill more holes in them to do this DIY. I want to do a really beautiful Scandinavian wall hanging for Christmas with the wood feel. We're gonna have the wood slices. We're gonna have the macrame cord, and we're gonna have some Christmas greenery. So I saw a couple projects I really liked, and I kind of combined them together to get something that was perfect. So they already have a hole on one side of them for the ornament hanger. So I just go in with my drill and I'm going to put a hole in the other side and making sure that their hole was drilled plenty large so that I can get that Dollar Tree macrame cord through easily. I'm going to do a total of 3 of these ornaments, so 1 whole package for the middle of this one, and then I'm going to do 2 more on each side. How many you need kind of depends on how long you want yours to be and how wide you want it to be. You can always make it wider. I'm going to do just 3 columns of the little wood slices. So I'm going to do 2, 3, 2 is my pattern because I want it to be longer in the middle to hang down for like my macrame wall hanging. So I got all of my wood slices drilled and I'm going to use a combination of this beautiful greenery and just wood beads. So this is called snow greenery. I got this from the Dollar Tree this year and we're just going to kind of cut this down. I want to leave some of the stem on this and we can use that to tie up to the macrame cord to make this beautiful wall hanging. I think this turned out so beautiful. I mean, it is Christmas, but it is something that you could leave up all winter long. I really think the colors and everything just goes together so well. So I have 2 packages of the snow greenery. I'm going to go ahead and cut it all down. I end up not using it all. Some of them have 1 piece of greenery on it and some have 2. So I'm kind of mapping out what I want to use. I was thinking I was going to do like a total of 1 on each side, right? And then 2 on the ends. I ended up using a total of 4, even though I started here thinking that I was going to use a total of 6. Now, this is the Dollar Tree macrame cord. It comes in several different packages. I don't know if they're different links or not. This is the one that was just in a bundle. It doesn't matter. It's all the same thing. And I love crafting with this. It is so great. If you can't find the macrame cord, you could probably use white yarn and get a pretty close replication to this. But what I'm going to do is just kind of make a needle end by using hot glue and then just molding that when it gets dry to make a little hard surface. So it's going to make it easier to thread through everything I need to thread through for this. I'm just using some wood beads from my stash. You can get wood beads like this from the Dollar Tree, and you could totally use those as well. So the first thing I did was string a bead on, and then I'm going to go through my little wood slice and then back through it, bringing it through to the front. When I ended up displaying mine, I had it where macrame yarn that goes through it is on the back, so you don't really see that part. So you mostly see a wood slice. Then I'm going to put on another wood bead. The width of the hole in the wood beads was nice and tight up against my macrame cord, so I didn't really have to tie any knots to be able to kind of keep that where I want it. And so for now, it's great because I can just kind of move that around. I did another wood slice and another wood bead, and then we're going to finish it up with the third wood slice. It was pretty easy to thread that through. Then I'm going to wrap that around the center of my piece of driftwood here and just tie that off in a simple knot, letting that hang down to the center of our little piece, cutting off the excess twine. Make sure you get your knots tied tightly because you don't want this to fall apart. Now, once I have that, I kind of figure out how long I want it to be, and I'm going to make a very small tassel because it's only one piece of cord here in the bottom by tying a knot and then just unraveling and combing out the macrame cord to form a little tassel. These are very small tassels. You can always make larger ones. I didn't really want to take away too much from the overall design of this one, so we're going to leave that as so, just kind of cutting it off into a little tassel. So we have our first piece done, and we can keep on going. The only thing I don't like about the macrame cord in that package is it does get a little tangly. So I'm going to start a new piece here by hot gluing the end, just like we did before, and we're going to repeat the same pattern. So I did a wood bead, a wood slice, and then we're going to do another wood bead and then our second wood slice. This one's going to go over on the left side of our wall hanging, and I want it to hang just like that. So I just put it around my driftwood piece again, double knotting that at the top and cutting off my excess line. Then I'm going to use my first one as reference to see how long I want my tassel to be. And I'm going to do the knot in the same place. And then I can kind of measure and cut that down to size. Then just like before, I'm just going to unravel all the extra macrame cord and comb it out into a little mini tassel. So we have our first two wood slice rows done. And so it's going to gradually be shorter on each side and then work its way down to a point in the middle, which works really well for a wall hanging like this. And we're going to do the same thing here on the other one. So I just grab my macrame cord again. I don't cut it in advance. I kind of leave it all attached so I can make it whatever size I need it to be. And I do a wood bead and a wood slice. Some of the wood slices are kind of thick and chunky like this one. If I couldn't get it to go through, I just used a little cricut weeder to kind of help push it through a little bit, and that seemed to help. And a wood bead and another wood slice. Then we're going to tie this one off on the driftwood as well, trying to keep it evenly spaced. That's when I kind of realized, I'm probably going to have room for about 5 of the greenery there because I don't want it too far close to the edges. And I'm going to just tie a knot, trim it down to size, and unravel and comb this little mini tassel as well. It's going to be worth it, all this effort. This DIY turned out so pretty. I love it. I can't wait to put this up this year. Now for the next one, I'm going to go ahead and take my macrame cord and just tie the knot to the top, just like we did before. And this is going to hold the little Christmas greenery. So I'm just going to cut off a length of that and then go in. I'm going to use the ones that have the 2 greenery on it to make it a little bit fuller. And I'm just going to simply tie a knot on the stem of my greenery, and it's going to hang straight down. So I double knot that to make that secure. And how simple is that, right? We're going to do the same thing here on the other side, and I'm making it where it's going to fall a nice length in between the 2 wood slices on each side. So I want this one to be about the same place. So I just tied that on, trimmed it down to size, double knotted the greenery here, and you can always slide that up and down if you need to kind of get that to hang properly. That's when I decided I can only do a total of, I guess, 4. I don't know why I was saying 5. And I'm just going to knot more of the macrame cord here on the top. As you can see, I really don't have much more room on this piece of driftwood. And then I want that to hang down a little bit higher than the wood slice next to it. So I cut my macrame cord down and just knot this. And again, This is super forgiving if you don't get it on there exactly the right size. You can always readjust later if you need to. And we're going to do the same thing here on our final row. Just double knotting the macrame cord to the top, trimming that down to size, making a knot, and tying this one off. So no bright colors or anything like that with the Scandinavian Christmas decor. I really love the hygge feel of decor, all this natural wood and the greenery and the whites and stuff like that. I think this kind of matches everything that has to do with that style. Now for the top, we're going to use the same macrame cord, and I just wrap it around here at the end, trying to tie it nice and tight to keep everything else on so it won't slide off the end. Cut off a long piece of that, pull it on the other side. We're going to tie it off over here too. Now, make sure you get these super tight. I only double tied mine and they felt like they were kind of loose. So I did go back and triple tie mine to make sure that those stay in place, but that was the final step of our little wood slice and greenery wall hanging for Christmas. I absolutely love how this turned out. So let me show you how it looks hanging up. Those wood slices from the Dollar Tree are absolutely gorgeous. And combined with the greenery, it's just so subtle and beautiful for Christmas decor. And I like the little accents of the wood beads as well. It really kind of goes with the feel of it.
For this one, I'm going to use a Dollar Tree vase. I just picked up the $1.25 one. I still have a Dollar Tree that's not a Dollar Tree Plus, and I really like going there because I try to avoid the Plus items a lot because they're so expensive. And I'm actually going to make a scarf. For the bottom of the vase, I want to make this into a snowman as well. It's going to be kind of a snowman head. And I wanted something red and white and festive to use to make a scarf for the bottom. And so I actually just used the top of one of the little gnome stockings. But you have to be really careful. As you can see, this stuff melts. So I'm just using enough heat just to make the hot glue melt a little bit so I can cut that fabric off because I really liked that pattern, the red and white snowflake pattern. And so I thought I would use it. I always try to save all my scraps from other crafting projects. Now, I don't really want the seam to be on the front of the fabric, so I took my time here on the front of the snowman to make sure that I just cut the seam apart. And I won't have that, but I don't really care about the second piece because this piece is not long enough to make it all the way around the Dollar Tree vase. And I'm going to decorate this like that. Now, I'm not going to frost this one. I'm going to show you a different method that you can use to make a snowman with Dollar Tree glass or plastic products like this and make it look like snow. So this is going to be the scarf. I'm just going to have it lay flat against the vase, but it's just going to provide a pop of color. And that's why I had to do two, is because it wasn't quite long enough to make it all the way around. And since it is a round piece like this, I think it does need to go all the way around on this project. And this is going to be a light up snowman. It turned out so cute. It is so fun. So I'm going to use my second little piece here for the back, just to make sure it goes all the way around. And then I'm going to glue the front too to make sure it doesn't slip down like that and stays in place. Now we're going to do a snowman face on the vase. I'm using a black paint pen and we're going to do two little ovals here for our snowman eyes. I do go back and add like a little eye spot in those to make them look super cute. And then we're going to do the traditional like coal mouth. I just do 5 black dots here for the snowman mouth. You could also draw a grin on there too if you don't want to do the coal. And then I'm going to do the carrot nose with my orange paint pen by sketching out a nice size carrot here and filling it in with the little stripes. The black went on really well. The orange kind of looks a little bit distressed, but for a carrot, I kind of like that look. I think it looks cool. Just trying to make it have that fun carrot shape. And again, a little white eye spot in each one of the eyes just gives the eyes a little bit of personality there. Now, I told you we're going to light this up. This is the cool white, so it doesn't have the yellow tint like the other lights from the Dollar Tree. I wanted it to be bright white like snow, so that is why I chose those lights for this project. And I'm going to have the battery pack just be on the back so I can turn it on and off or change the batteries without having to take the snowman apart. Now for the snow look, we're going to use the polyfill from the Crafter Square from Dollar Tree and wrap that with the light. So that's going to give us the look of the snow for the snowman without having to frost it. It's also going to help me cover the wires for the light, because you really want the light to show through and less of the wires. So I kind of do like one section at a time, making sure I put a little polyfill in front of the wire, but also making sure that the lights are still visible from the front and the sides where you're going to be able to see our little light up snowman. And I just keep doing that until I get to the very top and it's all full. Again, I'm going to leave this out so I don't have to take it apart to be able to turn it on and off or change batteries. So I just hot glue it to the scarf there in the back where you won't be able to see it because of all the polyfill inside the snowman head. So this is what he's looking like so far. I think he's going to be really cute on my kitchen counter for Christmas. I love things on my kitchen counter that I can light up. It looks great in the evening or at night. And then I picked up a black stocking hat from Dollar Tree. I thought this black would be perfect for a snowman hat, right? It is a little too big for the size vase though, so I cut it down, and I'm also going to glue seams into it to make it smaller. I need it to be smaller to fit on this little snowman. So I just take one side and glue it on itself. I have it inside out right now. And then I go ahead and do the same thing here on the other side. I did notice it kept being a little bit bigger than I needed, but I didn't want to make it too small, so I kind of downsized one step at a time here. But I love the little black pom-pom on the top. I think that's super cute. So I turn it right side out and then kind of glue those seams a little bit better here on the sides so that you can't see any of that. And I'm also going to be cuffing it like this too when this snowman is wearing it. I'm going to try it on. First size, and it's still a little bit too big. I did think about using Dollar Tree socks for this. And that's going to fit a little bit better than the hat, but I really loved the black hat. I thought that would be perfect for a snowman. So I'm just going to create seams in it like that and downsize it until I get it the perfect size here. It's pretty close. I do have a little bit excess fabric here in the back, so I just cut that out, and I don't really care what the hat looks like in the back. So I'm just going to kind of hot glue it to itself just to make it fit back there after I remove the excess fabric. And then the front, I want it to be, rolled over like a stocking hat would be. And then just kind of glue down any loose pieces I have. Now it is fitting way better on our little snowman, and I think it looks really festive and cute. So here it is, our little light up snowman. Really fun project for Christmas, super easy to do. And I love the little black stocking hat on him. The polyfill makes really cute snow in there. And again, the snowman face is so easy just to paint on yourself. If you hate hand painting, you could always use your cricut too, if you have one, to cut out some vinyl for a snowman face. But he was actually really easy to do. And I think he turned out so cute. Let me show you how he looks lit up. Really cute. I love snowman DIYs. I have so many Christmas ideas for this year, and I noticed like half of them are snowmen, so be prepared. Your girl loves snowmen. I always have. Every holiday I've ever decorated as an adult, I always have tons of snowmen. So cute.
Okay, the next DIY, again, you guys know I love my little tinsel trees from the Dollar Tree. They just make perfect gnome hats. They also make perfect Christmas trees, of course, because that's what they are. So we're just going to remove the tinsel from this one. And I have a fun idea of a different kind of gnome, Christmas gnome, that we can do with this one. And as you can see, I got like some little reindeer antlers from Dollar Tree. So this is going to be a little reindeer gnome. Earlier we did a snowman. We've done lots of Santas, but I thought Rudolph needed a gnome too. So we're going to see what we can do. Now I'm going to switch it up. This time we're going to use the brown rope from Dollar Tree instead of the white. It's going to kind of give us a different look. The reindeer I thought would be cute if it was brown. So I think this rope is going to be perfect. So just like before, I'm going to have it go from the middle section to the very bottom. So I just measure off one piece and then go around and cut all of the rope. And this is the thinner brown rope from the Dollar Tree. Doesn't really matter. You can use whichever one that you want because we are going to unwind this like we did before. But you get a totally different look with the brown rope than you do with that white nautical rope from Dollar Tree. And you can kind of see which one or both that you like. Now I'm going to just start by hot gluing the rope to the middle cage right there. I actually started mine right there where there was kind of a crossbar for a little added stability. And then we're just going to simply hot glue those all the way around because like before, this is going to form the beard. It's also going to form the body because you don't want to have any open spaces or anything like that on the back of your gnome. So one package of that was not enough. So I had another package on standby, cut a few more pieces down, and that was good to go. Now I'm going to use my extra rope I have. You could always use twine like we did before, but that worked really well when I glued rope all the way around to help keep that in place, and it's going to be hidden underneath the gnome hat anyway, so you might as well reinforce it. And I just hot glue that all the way around. That way the rope is glued from the top and the bottom. Then I can unwind it and pull and tug on it and it won't go anywhere. But as you can see, that's what it looks like. It's not full at all if you just use the ropes like that. So that's why it is crucial to unwind them. So just like before, these just unwind into 3 different separate ropes. It's going to give you a really full curly little beard. And we're just going to simply go all the way around the tree and unwind every single one. These are the kind of time-consuming parts of the projects, but look how cute that turned out. Now it's time to get started on decorating this gnome. I was trying to decide what would make a good nose, and I decided the little red ornaments from the Dollar Tree would be perfect. I just love the idea of using a Christmas ornament for a gnome nose. And we can just attach it right there to the rope where I think the nose is going to be peeking out. So I decided to do it kind of right here where my rope came together anyway. You're not going to be able to see that part anyway, so it doesn't matter. But I could kind of get in there a little bit closer there where I had a gap. And we're just going to attach that little Christmas ornament with hot glue to make our little gnome nose. Just kind of nestle it right up in there. And I thought the red ornament would be perfect since we're doing a reindeer. It's going to look like a little Rudolph gnome. Now for the hat, the gnome hat, we're also going to make it look like a Christmas tree like we have in some of the other gnome DIYs today. And to do that, we're going to use my favorite garland, the Dollar Tree garland. It's so versatile and so inexpensive. I love crafting with this. So I'm just going to kind of wire that around my frame to kind of get me started there. And I'm also going to use a little hot glue just to make sure that this stays down and the overlap for the beard is going to hide the rope where it all comes together. You're not going to be able to see any of that. I don't want that to shift or anything like that. And then once I get that on, I can just kind of use pressure to like pull that around. It's got all the great tabs and everything on there on that tinsel tree cage. And just simply work my way up to the very top of our Christmas tree or gnome hat. I want to cover up as much plastic as I can. And this is how it looks so far. There is a slight hint that it might be a reindeer with that cute little Rudolph nose. Now, these are the antlers we're going to use. The thing is, they're too big for my gnome as is, so I'm going to very carefully try to use my heat gun to remove the felt from felt so I can get the little reindeer antlers off. I just try to get it a little bit hot and then just kind of pull it off because, again, I don't want to melt the felt if I can help it, but it wouldn't come off without just a little bit of heat. Now we have 2 reindeer antlers. They're just the right size, and it's just a matter of attaching these. So I was kind of trying to see exactly where they kind of come out, like from the beard here, one on each side of the little reindeer nose, and whether I want them to go like straight up or kind of out to the side a little bit, kind of compromised, kind of go slightly off to the side. And then I just hot glued that to the beard that we made out of the rope. Gonna do the same thing here on the other side, trying to make sure that my antlers are fairly even and secure. And then to kind of hide where they all come together, I'm going to make a brim to this like little hat, I guess it is, and to cover up the rope there as well. With some more of that Dollar Tree garland. It hides like the opening of the antler where we attached it and the rope we used to reinforce everything. So I'm going to go around a couple of times to make that brim of the hat and just simply attach it here in the back. It's kind of easier to wire it to each other with the wire that's in the garland than it is to hot glue it. This garland from the Dollar Tree is really sensitive to heat, so be careful with your hot glue as well. Then I thought some of the little Jingle Bell mini bell garland would be really cute since it's a reindeer. I thought that'd be fun to give him some jingle bells. And as you can see, all of these Christmas gnomes today, all a little bit different, all different kinds of themes. I really hope that you got lots of good crafting inspiration today. I did 4 of these tonight. I did 4 of these last year, and I think they are so much fun. I absolutely love all of them. So I just strung that mini bell garland all the way around, just like garland. It's also going to be some jingle bells, but a nice rustic touch to our little reindeer gnome. How cute is he? I think that red ornament nose just really makes him. Now I wanted to do a tree topper on this one just for fun, so I decided to use one of the little wood stars from the Dollar Tree, and we're just going to simply stain it with Antique Wax by Waverly, kind of give it a warm look. And I thought that would be a really cute little tree topper to put on the top of my little Christmas tree up here. I didn't want the decorations to be too garish on this one. I wanted everything to kind of look rustic. That's kind of why I went with like the brown jingle bells. We have the brown tree topper. And I think it looks really cute as is. I think it just needs a few more touches. The first thing I want to do is kind of tone down that super glossiness of the little nose. And I do that with some matte Mod Podge just to kind of take the sheen down a little bit. Just because I was going for a little bit more rustic, a little less shiny. But of course, Rudolph's nose needs to be bright red. And that is how it looks so far. It's so cute. And then I thought, you know what? This will look great with some lights. So I'm going to feed some in there. You know, I might as well because we have access to the inside of the tree. So again, these are some Dollar Tree lights, the little tiny LED lights, the white ones. And I can kind of feed my little battery pack in right inside. So I'll be able to turn it on and off just by lifting up my little gnome. And then turn that on so we can kind of see what we're doing. And then we can string those lights around. And again, I just used white. It's going to be neutral, kind of go with everything. And I'm glad I did it because I didn't do a lot of decorations on this little Christmas tree. And it's still neutral with the white color, but it added a little pizzazz to our little Rudolph and Christmas tree gnome. I think he's so fun. So I just wound that all the way around. It's a perfect size for a tree that size. And I love him. I think he's so cute. And one of my very favorite Christmas gnomes. Definitely the red ornament or some kind of a red bead for the nose. And try to find some kind of antlers. They'd be pretty easy to make too if you couldn't find them, if you had some brown felt. Isn't he darling? I love him so much. Okay, the next DIY, so easy. I don't even know if it's a DIY. I found this beautiful gold candlestick at the Dollar Tree, and they had these little red candles that I thought looked really pretty for Christmas. They are actually vanilla and cinnamon scented too. They just have a really great texture on the sides and like a domed top, like it's kind of pointy. I thought it was really pretty, and the candle was just about as pretty as the candle holder. And I thought this would look great with some of that gold bling. And I always like to use a little bit of hot glue just to help keep my candle in place. But that part's totally optional, but you could totally burn this as well. A super easy little Christmas candle DIY using 2 items from the Dollar Tree. Isn't that candle really pretty? I saw that in the regular candle aisle and I thought, ooh, this is going to be perfect for Christmas. And I love that gold candle holder. Look how beautiful that is. Hey, you can see a reflection of me in the, it's so shiny. Isn't that so pretty? And I think that's gonna look really pretty with that gold bling. Okay, next DIY, we're gonna use some of these party hats from Dollar Tree. These are long and skinny. I thought they'd make the perfect Christmas tree. So the first thing I do is just remove the little hanger and make sure it is kind of put together right. I want that perfect cone shape to make a little coastal Christmas tree. Now, I want to kind of reinforce the shape, but I also want to make it stronger because the paper that it's made out of is not very strong, and I want it a strong base for a Christmas tree. So I just take masking tape, try to reinforce the shape, but I also want to cover basically the entire party hat with a masking tape just to provide it more structure. Also, to cover up all the bright colors on the party hat in case you can see in between what we're going to add to it. And what are we going to add to it? We're going to add Dollar Tree round wood beads, just natural wood, and Dollar Tree the brown nautical rope. I thought we could kind of alternate those and do a really cute little coastal Christmas tree. So I'm just working my way all the way around that with masking tape, just pretty much covering up everything. Kind of have to work in some weird angles and stuff with this to get everything covered, but that made it so much stronger. I was impressed. I'm also going to kind of trim up the hat to make sure that it stands as flat as I can get it to give us a base for that tree. I've done this with the large party hats from Dollar Tree. I've made them into Christmas trees, but it's the first time I've used one of the smaller ones, I think, like that, to do a smaller scale tree. This is the rope that we're going to be using from Dollar Tree. This is the wider rope. I noticed this one was like extra stringy, and so I'm going to go ahead with my lighter first and just burn off all the fuzzies on this one to kind of clean it up first. So I won't have to do this later. I don't want to burn any of the wood beads or anything like that. Now I'm going to leave the wood beads all strung together just to make this project even simpler. Going to go ahead and remove the tag. The first one's kind of like put on there and wrapped around, but I think we can make that work. I want to do them side by side. So the very beginning here is the most crucial part, getting these attached securely to the tip of the little Christmas tree or party hat, because we're going to be wrapping it around it and we're going to be kind of tugging and pulling. So we're going to, need this to be a little bit secure. Especially the rope piece here I found was really crucial to get that glued down and glued down strong. I did really kind of let that set up before I decided to start working with it anymore. And, when you have your rope cut like that, you have different layers too. So I kind of glued the layers down to themselves as well. Then we can start wrapping it around. I do one row of hot glue there. I'm not going to glue everything down, but at least one side of it's going to be glued down at all times to kind of keep it tight up against the Christmas tree. And then I just kind of roll that around, trying to keep my wood beads tight, but they do have a little bit of slack, so I can kind of go around the round edges like that and wrap it all the way around the Christmas tree like that. Reinforcing the tip, because I found that my rope was kind of coming away a little bit. And then I do another little band of hot glue down where I can wrap that around, trying to keep it tight so you can't see too much of the masking tape through it. But that did a good job of masking the colors on the party hat for sure. Now, I probably should have tied these together before because I don't want it to fall apart now, and you're definitely going to need more than one. I ended up using 2 and then just a tiny bit of a third package of the Dollar Tree wood beads. You could always string your own if you can't find the pre-strung. Wood beads at Dollar Tree seem to be pretty common anymore. I just tie my 2 strands together, cutting off the excess string. And then I can continue wrapping this around. I only needed 1 package of the Dollar Tree rope. That was plenty to go all the way around. Originally, I was just going to do wood beads, but I thought that would look kind of boring. I thought I could give it a coastal character by adding the rope to it. And I'm so glad I did. I think that the 2 really work well together. So this is how far I got with the second one. So I'm going to need just a little bit here of the third one. And so I'm going to tie that off again, as tight as I can get that. And then I can always hide, any of the excess string that's hanging off there, but just kind of pushing it down in there and twisting it. So I'm kind of trying to figure out exactly how many of the wood beads I need. And that looks pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and cut the string off a little bit longer so that I can kind of wrap that through the bead and pull that tight to kind of finish that one off and glue that to the party hat there. So you kind of have to do your two individual parts separately here to finish off your tree. And then I'm trying to see about how much of the rope I need. I try to cut it a little bit at an angle so it would kind of lay flat with the bottom of the tree. And I trim that down and secure that to the little party hat with hot glue as well. And I'm just trying to get as flat of a bottom as I can get there so that my little Christmas tree will stand up properly. I'm kind of trying it out. Now for the tree topper. I do another one of the wood beads from the wood bead garland, and I just glue it straight to the top like that, hole straight up, because I wanted to do a Dollar Tree starfish to attach to it, but I was trying to figure out exactly how I was going to attach it. I found I needed something to really attach it to. So I thought I could attach it to that wood bead that we added on there. And then I thought maybe to make it a little bit stronger, I could put something in the wood bead too to kind of, strengthen that up. But I found that my tree wasn't super stable, so I did think that maybe one more wood bead here at the bottom would make that sit a little bit flatter. And so I'm going to just glue one more wood bead on here. And that did kind of straighten mine up. So you might need to add or remove a wood bead there at the bottom. Whatever you need to do to make sure that your tree is going to stand up strong and not going to tip over, especially with a tree topper on there. Once I got that secured, I decided to add a little color. So I'm going to go in with that cloudless color by Apple Barrel and paint our little starfish blue. I thought that'd be cute. The little starfish from the Dollar Tree, and again, Shore Living, paint so nicely. You could always use a real starfish as well. I do have some listed in my Amazon shop below, and I do like to craft with those too. Since you're going to be able to see it from the front or the back because it's a Christmas tree freestanding, I decided to go ahead and paint the back of the starfish in that light blue color as well. And now to attach it. I decided to use some of these little wood dowels. You could probably use a skewer, whatever you've got. I just wanted another thing to be able to attach the tree topper to make it more stable. I'm just going to cut that little wood dowel down, and I can put that inside the wood bead there at the very tippy top of my Christmas tree to give me something to kind of secure that starfish to. I didn't really want to drill a hole in my starfish or anything like that. But I just wanted a little bit more area to have contact area with the glue. So I put some hot glue inside the wood bead and glue the little dowel right down inside. And then I can hot glue my starfish to that. I was trying to decide if I was going to glue it to the front or on the very, very top. I decided to do the very top. So I put some hot glue on the back of the starfish and then lay my dowel right inside, trying to let that set up a little bit before I add more hot glue because I definitely want to glue the whole thing in. Once I got my first layer of hot glue setting up, I went in and added way more to kind of make a big glue blob around the dowel to make that super strong. I also took it and popped it in my freezer to try to make that set up even faster. And it did. My hot glue is set up now. I'm just going to kind of clean up any hot glue that you might be able to see on the rope. And this is how it turned out. Our little rope and wood bead coastal Christmas tree. I love it. It's standing up fine on its own. And I think it's really beautiful. What do you guys think about this idea? It's a little bit different variation than I've done on any of them before, but I absolutely love how it turned out. I think it's very coastal with the rope and the starfish, but the wood beads really add some fun to it as well. And you can have them start wherever. I just kind of have my wood beads start there right directly in the front, and the starfish is a perfect topper.
Don't forget, if you haven't yet, don't forget to like my video. That helps so much. And please subscribe to my channel. And don't forget to hype this video if you're on your mobile device.
Now, to kind of mix it up a little bit, we're going to do a coastal Christmas tree gnome. I picked up this beautiful metal flower pot from the Dollar Tree, and I actually picked up this bottle brush tree at the Target dollar spot. They're both this like mint green color, which I think is perfect for coastal crafting. And then I picked up a Dollar Tree gnome stocking. I love pulling these little beards off and using them to make gnomes. So easy. You get the beard, you get the nose. It's just a matter of getting it off of the stocking. You can use heat if you want. That fabric does melt a little bit though, so you have to be careful. This one came off pretty easily. And I'm going to make the gnome into, or the pot into like the gnome, and then the Christmas tree can be the gnome hat. So I just want to line that up for the top of the flower pot. I love that it's already this beautiful color and design. It's great for coastal. I just add some hot glue to the outside of the pot and glue the little gnome beard and nose on. And I buy these stockings and use them for gnomes year round on my channel. I love it. I'm a big fan of gnomes. I think they're so cute. I'm going to tack down his beard a little bit just to kind of keep it in place here along the sides. And the beard was just a little too long, so I'm going to trim it up a little bit so there's not a lot of overlap. Super cute, and that takes a lot of the work out of making a gnome for you. Now, the next coastal touch I'm going to use is some of the Dollar Tree white nautical rope. And I thought that would be fun to kind of line the top of this flower pot with. It's kind of be like the brim of the hat almost. So I attached that with some hot glue, and I went down a little bit from the top of the pot, and I'm going to go around, covering up the eyes of the gnome or gonk. I think a lot of you guys said it's called a gonk if you can't see the eyes on these little guys. And that's going to be the brim of his hat. I'm going to double it up. This is, I think, the wider white rope from the Dollar Tree, but it doesn't really matter. And I go around with a second row to fill that up. And that looks coastal, and it serves a purpose there for like the little brim of his hat almost. I just make sure to start and stop right there on the back of the gnome where you can't see it, attaching that with hot glue. I love the coastal color of this tree. I do need to fill up the flower pot, and I want to weigh it down. So I'm just using some Dollar Tree black stones to weigh it down, and a little bit of the foam from the Dollar Tree just to kind of fill up this space in there. For the tree itself, I'm going to decorate it with some Dollar Tree seashells. Some of the smaller ones that come in the glass bottles, I just go all over. And I just put a dot of hot glue on them, and they stick to the bottle brush tree really well. So it's going to be a decorated Christmas tree. It's also going to be a gnome hat. And I love the idea of making like a gnome pot like this. It's really fun. You could display this really indoor or outdoor. I think it would look great either way. The beard might not hold up too well out in the weather. You might need to put it like on a protected porch or something like that. Now, if you wanted, you could even add some like lights to this to make it light up. Maybe some like little white twinkle battery operated lights from Dollar Tree would be cute. And then I'm going to put this down into the little flower pot to make our gnome hat. Just like that. I decided to hot glue it down just to make it stay in there a little bit better against that floral foam. And that worked well because it kept it flat, lifted it up a little bit, and I didn't have to fill the entire thing up with stones. But I wanted to weight on the bottom so it doesn't want to tip over or anything like that. Let me show you how adorable this turned out. So you have your like little coastal Christmas tree, and then it's actually a little coastal gnome. Isn't that so fun? I love it. And I love the colors. It's like one of my favorite colors. That mint green color, it goes great for coastal decor. Looks great with the light blue that I use a lot. Okay, the next DIY, we're going to take 2 of the black metal candlesticks from Dollar Tree. I got them in different heights so we can make a set of pillar candles. And even though these are black and I just have white taper candles, we're going to make these festive. So the first thing we're going to have to do is paint them. Now, I want to make them bright red, but right now they're black. So I was thinking it was going to be hard to get them bright red if I didn't first prime them with white. So I'm just using white acrylic and I am just going over the entire candlestick first just to prime it everywhere that you might be able to see, even inside the cups. And then we can go in with red and paint these. Now, whenever I'm painting metal, spray paint does work a little bit better. But depending on the weather here in Florida, spray paint doesn't always want to dry for me. So we're going to use acrylic today. So I've got both of the candlesticks primed. This is my bright red acrylic by Delta. And then I'm just going to go in with a foam brush and we're just going to start painting these. So don't be afraid to paint these little candlesticks from the Dollar Tree. They're so cute and they're really a nice size for $1.25. And look how bright red they look after the white coating first. I think that was definitely the trick to get that bright red color that I was going for on these DIYs. So we're just going to paint all over. And I've got a few more surprises with this DIY too to kind of go with our red and white Christmas theme. Now, I'm not going to paint the candles, but that is another thing that you can do. And I did that recently on a Halloween video. If you use the Posca paint pens, you can totally paint those taper candles. You can paint little designs on there if you like, and it was so much fun. So that's what they look so far now that I've got them painted red and they're dry. Now my surprise was to add little snowflakes. So we're going to use these little wood snowflake ornaments from the Dollar Tree. And we're going to do one of these for each one of the candlesticks to add to the long stand, and it really made them pop. Now they are ornaments. They do have a little hole in them. So I'm just going to go ahead and fill mine up with a little bit of spackle. And then we can go in and paint these. I'm going to be using a snow flurry white to make sure they're nice and bright. And then we're going to add those to the candlesticks. This was a really fun DIY to do. And we're going to need to have the front and the back of the snowflakes to be that bright white color because it is a candlestick, so you're going to be able to probably see it from both directions. I'm only adding one snowflake to each one, but you can always kind of sandwich them on two if you wanted, one on each side if you're going to have it like on a table or something like that where you want to be able to see it really well from both sides. So I just painted mine white on both sides, and then I thought if we added some of the glitter stickers from Dollar Tree, we could get a little sparkle in it as well by adding maybe like another little snowflake to the center of these. So I make sure I get them good and dry, and then I'm just kind of adding it here in the middle. Just another little touch of bling for Christmas. And I just love those white glitter little snowflakes. So this is what it looks like so far. And they're ready to attach to our candlesticks. So I'm just going to kind of center it right about here, and I'm just going to attach with hot glue. I hot glue the little snowflake to the candlestick just like that. I'm not measuring or anything, just kind of estimating about halfway on both of them. And we're going to hot glue the second one on. Now that part of the DIY is done. Now we can start focusing on the candle part. So I picked up 2 of the white like taper candles. They come in a 2-pack at Dollar Tree and just in plain white. I thought that would pop nicely against the red candlesticks. And again, I'm so glad I thought to paint these because black you wouldn't necessarily think of as a Christmas decoration, but these definitely are. Now, I wanted to kind of make these look extra special. I tried them first with nothing, but then I decided I wanted a little bit of bling. So I'm going to go back after that metal ribbon from the Dollar Tree and cut a piece just to go around the base. And you can kind of like push it into the wax a little bit, especially when you add a little bit of hot glue there. So I kind of measure to see exactly where I would need it. That way the candle will still fit, and then I'm going to secure that in there with a little hot glue to make sure the candle's not going to go anywhere. And it really gave the candle like a touch of class there at the bottom with that one. Now the tops of these candlesticks are totally different, but we're going to make this work. So again, I'm just not doing it all the way to the bottom. I'm leaving a little bit of space for the candle to fit down into the candle holder, and then securing it with a little hot glue to make sure that our pillar candles stand straight up. And I love this DIY. It was so fun to put together, and look how beautiful and elegant these little Christmas candlesticks are. These would be great just sitting around. I just used mine for decor, but these would be great on your kitchen table or dining room table for a Christmas celebration. I love the little touch of metal and the glitter as well. It's super fun.
Very festive, and I'm loving the red and white combo.
For the next DIY, we're going to make a little kind of surfing Santa sign. I have one of the surfboard signs left over from the summer section at the Dollar Tree, and we're going to make it into a kind of coastal Christmas craft. I found this great scrapbook paper at the Dollar Tree. It's like a teal glitter, and I thought that would be really cute to cover the surfboard with, and it's the perfect size. So I just flipped that over using the little surfboard sign as reference and sketched that out. If you're not able to find like a surfboard sign still at your Dollar Tree, or you don't have one left over, I think it would be easy enough to cut this shape out of like a piece of cardboard or something like that, because you're going to be covering it anyway. I think that looks really cute. And this DIY was really simple to do. I actually did this DIY as part of like a Christmas in July craft, which coastal crafting goes great for. But you could also use this for Christmas too. So I just do a coat of Mod Podge, laying that beautiful glitter paper. I love the different cardstocks like that you can get at Dollar Tree over the top of it. And I think the glitter is perfect for Christmas feel. And then we are going to cut out like a little saying here. I think I have the SVG file for this. I'll look for that and include it in the description of today's video. What it's going to say is "Gone to the beach, love Santa," and it has like a little Santa hat. So I just cut that out of white vinyl, and we're going to make a really easy little custom Christmas sign. I don't really like the Dollar Tree vinyl. I try to avoid it if all possible. I usually get my vinyl on Amazon. I just find that it works a lot better. I also get my paper, transfer paper, on Amazon too. I absolutely love that. And it doesn't damage like the paper or the paint that you're adding your vinyl to. And I'm just pulling off the backing sheet on this, and one piece, quick and easy, on this little surfboard sign. It's coming detached a little bit there on the edges, so just making sure that's glued down completely before I start adding the vinyl. And it's a perfect saying for a little sign from Santa. I'm just centering it on there, smoothing that out, and peeling off the transfer paper. If you're lucky enough to have a Cricut machine, don't be afraid to use it. They're really easy to use once you get some practice in. Now for the hanger, I'm going to use some red and white like baker's twine from the Dollar Tree. I'm going to go ahead and poke a new hanger hole in on both sides here with a little Cricut weeder and just tie this to the top. Super easy and coastal. I love this for a Christmas DIY. Now I did want to add like another little Santa touch to it. I picked up some of these little red and white Santa gnomes from the Dollar Tree. And I'm also going to use one of the little fairy garden decor pieces, the little life ring. It's white and red. I thought that'd be cute on there too. So I'm going to use one of the gnomes with the red hat, so it'll look like Santa Claus. And it's the perfect size for this little surfboard sign because it's nice and small. A really easy little Santa Claus, and I can attach that to the side of the surfboard right there. And this would be great for a door hanging, telling everybody where you're at for the holidays. I'm going to glue him on this side, making sure his little nose is attached. It wasn't super attached, and I want it to kind of be tucked under the hat a little bit. And then add the little life ring to the other side. Such an easy DIY and really fun. I love the red, white, and blue all together. And here it is, our little Gone to the Beach surfboard signs. I like to buy like the surfboard signs, the flip-flop signs and stuff like that. I don't put them away from summer because I know sometimes I can use those for other seasons for coastal crafts like this. And I really like the baker's twine on there. Another little pop of red and white. I wanted to do a red and white theme, and so I'm using one of these little red jars from the Dollar Tree, some of their white glitter eucalyptus, which is so pretty, and then some of their little white snowflake glitter stickers. Now, normally the foam stickers look kind of cheap, but the little white glitter on there really makes these really beautiful. And we're going to use a lot of these today. I love these. The first set of projects we're going to be doing are a very classic like red and white theme. For Christmas, I really love that. I think it's so pretty. So I'm just going to put the little snowflake right here on the front of the jar. And then we can fill it in with the eucalyptus, but I need something to kind of like fill the jar with. And so instead of like snow, I'm just using some of their white sand. That's going to work perfect in the jar to kind of weigh it down and give me something to put the white glitter eucalyptus in. So I always save my extra sand from the Dollar Tree, so I filled this up pretty full. Then I decided to kind of take it up a notch. This is that metal ribbon from the Dollar Tree. I thought this would look prettier around like the jar lid and kind of give it like a little fancy touch here for Christmas. So I need to measure out enough of the metal ribbon to go all the way around, slightly overlap. And then I'm just using my Dollar Tree floral scissors to try to cut that down, but pretty much any heavy duty scissors is gonna work on that metal ribbon. I love crafting with it. It's so pretty. So I'm just gonna wrap it around the jar lid like that, and you can see how well that finishes off the top of it. And it goes with like the silver metal of the handle anyway. And I think it's a perfect final touch for this little DIY Christmas vase. I'm just gonna do a little bead of hot glue here. We're gonna kind of have it overlap in the back of the vase where you really won't be able to see it, and kind of glue it to itself. Now, using hot glue and metal can be a little bit tricky. You might want to use a stronger glue, but I was able to get this to work, just kind of giving my hot glue enough time to set up. Now that our vase is complete, we can fill it in with that white eucalyptus. Isn't it so pretty so far? And the white sand inside that red glass jar really made it like a bright red, really made that color pop. And so these are the white eucalyptuses. I'm just gonna kind of cut mine apart here so that I can arrange this first layer kind of shorter and around the edges. And then I leave this second one together, putting that in the top in the center there so it sticks up higher. And it's gonna fill out this little vase. It was so easy. Just a couple items from the Dollar Tree, but they really turned out really elegant. And I love the red and white theme for Christmas. I think it's so pretty. So this is our first DIY. We're going to be doing red and white Christmas DIYs. We're also going to be doing some easy 5-minute Christmas DIYs today. And we're also going to be doing a Christmas coffee bar. So I have all kinds of DIYs for you today, and I can't wait to show you. See how pretty that turned out? You would never know that was just a little Dollar Tree jar. I love the look of the metal ribbon at the top. So we're going to use a party hat from the Dollar Tree, some of the green grass skirts from the summer section, and some of the green cricut vinyl. And we're going to do a kind of a Hawaii kind of tropical version of Christmas with these. So the first thing I'm going to do is just cut off the tinsel on the party hat. This is one of those giant party hats from the party section at Dollar Tree. So it's going to make a really nice sized Christmas tree. It's just kind of a matter of getting the tinsel off. Now, they use like a really strong glue there on the bottom tinsel. So I usually end up just cutting that section off. It makes it a little bit easier. I went ahead and unfolded mine as well because I want to cover it up with green so it'll kind of be hidden behind the grass skirt and you won't see all this polka dot design. So I am just cutting right inside the glue line there. It's just going to make that easier, and it doesn't make the tree too much shorter. Now, I was inspired to make this Christmas tree DIY by our trip to Hawaii. I thought it was a really fun idea. I thought I could make a Christmas tree out of the little leis. And they have the green ones. They have like, the straw colored ones. You could do either one, but I'm going to do the green one today. A lot of times my Dollar Trees don't sell out of those, and I can still get them in the winter sometimes, so you might be able to find them. Mine usually kind of move them to the party section at my stores. But I thought it would be easier to cover the party hat with this green cricut vinyl from Dollar Tree than it would be to paint it. So I had this and it was almost the exact right color, so I thought we would give it a go. I am just going to peel off the backing and lay my party hat on there to recover it. Now, this is probably one of the best uses for Cricut vinyl. I love crafting with it, but I don't necessarily like using it in my Cricut machine because it always sticks to my mat and just makes a big old mess. I really wish they would work on the backing sheet. I don't think the vinyl itself is that bad, but oh man, I have so much trouble with it. I know lots of you guys do as well. So what I'm doing is just going to trim off all the extra vinyl. I do want to kind of leave these tabs and stuff on there so that I can put my little Christmas tree back together. And I don't know if it's because this is a bigger Christmas hat or what, but this is probably a lot sturdier than the smaller one that I've used to make Christmas trees. So now I'm just going to kind of cut my holes back in there so I can have some little slots so we can put this together. And as you can see, I even covered like my tabs with the vinyl. It's just a matter of popping those back in the slots. And again, I just did that to kind of disguise the bright pattern that was on the party hat so you won't be able to see it through my grass skirt. And this is the child size grass skirt. I got this one because I thought it would be a little shorter, but you know what? It doesn't really matter because you could always trim it to size. So let me show you how I'm going to put this together. The first thing I did was kind of measure length to see if it was too long. And it is a little bit too long, so even the child size I'm going to have to trim. So I went ahead and trimmed like one piece. And then before I go ahead and put it together, I thought I would give the entire grass skirt a bit of a haircut. So I'm just going to continue that line straight across to trim this. And we can start wrapping this. I'm also going to, I want them to stay connected, but I don't really need this whole waistband. So I'm just going to trim that part off, just leaving about a ½ inch to 1 inch of fabric just to keep it all together. And then it's just a matter of wrapping our party hat with the grass skirt. And we're going to have to wrap it a lot to make it nice and full. So I start with a little bit of hot glue right here on the tip and just start there. And this turned out so tropical and fun. Hawaii inspired lots of my DIYs here on my channel. So beautiful. We had such a great time there. We went there to celebrate our 20th wedding anniversary. And we went to the Big Island for a week, and it was absolutely amazing. We loved it. So I am just wrapping and wrapping, just pulling it tight. I don't really have to glue again until I get to the very end. And that's how full it looks with one grass skirt. Now I'm just going to go around and kind of trim it up a little bit here if any of the pieces were a little bit longer than they should be. I don't really want it like dragging on the ground or sticking out from the side. And as you can see with one grass skirt, you totally can still kind of see the green party hat behind it. And so I think it's going to require more than one. Now to make this tip even tighter, I decided to kind of cinch it up with just a little twine to tie it tight and kind of close up the top of it. See, this is what it looks like at this point. So you could kind of get away with one skirt if you wanted, but I wanted a super fluffy grass skirt. I didn't really want you to be able to see the party hat behind it at all. So we're going to use the second one that I had bought for it. And I saved a little piece that I cut off so I can go ahead and trim this one down to size before we start wrapping it. And then again, I'm just going to cut the waistband off, all of that, before I even unfold it. Makes it even easier. So we're going to start at the top again, and basically we're going to repeat the process by hot gluing that right there, right next to the twine that we used to tie it off. And then we're just going to simply wrap this around again. And once I have 2 grass skirts on there, it just made it so full and fluffy. And then we can decorate it even more. And I'm glad I decided to do 2. I think it kind of really needed it. I'm curious to see what this would look like with, like, the straw colored grass skirts from the Dollar Tree. I think that would be really beautiful too. I might have to try that DIY. So I'm using the entire grass skirt again. We're just going to simply have to hot glue it again to kind of close it off here at the top. And you can see how much fuller it is. I just kind of brush it out a little bit, kind of, see how long they're going to be. And then I can kind of trim them up too, if any of them are longer than the others. And I think that just kind of depends on how it gets wrapped. But as you can see, it's so full now. You can't see the party hat behind it, so I'm happy with it. And then I'm going to kind of cinch it up again at the very tip of our Christmas tree just by doing some hot glue, kind of pinching it together there, trying to close up the gap there on the very top. Now, this is what we're going to decorate our Christmas tree with. These poinsettias, very Hawaiian. They're white. They have a little touch of glitter, green in the middle. I think they're not going to be that colorful. You could do like a brighter hibiscus or something like that too, if you wanted like a bright pop of color. But I kind of wanted more of a neutral, like white flower like this. And so kind of seeing how it's going to look on our little grass skirt Christmas tree, and I'm digging it. So I just pulled the flowers off the ends of them and just left the little green tips on there, and I'm just putting a dot of hot glue and gluing that down into my grass skirt. Kind of glues it, to wherever it kind of sticks, either the grass skirt. I want it all to be a little bit flexible. And I'm just scattering them around kind of in a random pattern. I want there to be kind of equal coverage all around with the little poinsettias. And I love how these turned out. That white poinsettia against the green grass skirt. So tropical and beautiful. And I used 2 packages of these to have enough flowers to go all over. This is a pretty, like medium size, I would say, Christmas tree decoration, because that party hat was pretty large. And look how beautiful it is looking. I love it. So fun. Now I wanted to make kind of a fun little tree topper, and I picked up this little flamingo sign at Dollar Tree, but I'm just going to borrow the flamingo. I thought we could make a really pretty like tree topper with this because I thought flamingo would totally go with the grass skirt vibe. Then I was trying to figure out how exactly I'm going to attach this because he's got like these long legs and stuff like that. So I decided to ditch the legs. We'll just keep the flamingo body. It'll make it look like he's sitting down, right? Like that. I thought that would be easier. And then I was like, it probably needs something else. What do I have? So I'm going to put a couple of things together. The first thing I wanted to do was paint it, though. I'm just using like a pink parfait color to kind of cover up that bright pink glitter. And again, I wanted to paint the back of it because it was just unfinished on the back. So I kind of wanted it to be consistent. And I really kind of wanted like this shade of pink rather than the hot pink. I did take a couple of coats to cover up all that glitter and stuff like that, but it was pretty easy to paint. Then I picked up this starfish at like my local flea market, and these are actually pretty inexpensive. And I thought this would make a really pretty tree topper. I guess you could always use the starfish from the Dollar Tree if you have that. But I thought I would just put my little flamingo right on top by gluing it on top of the starfish like that. And then I can lay the starfish flat like that on the very top of the tree where it kind of like goes out in all directions, which is a little different than you would normally attach like a starfish to as a tree topper. But I think it actually worked really well like this. So I just attached the whole thing with hot glue. We have a little custom tree topper with a flamingo, a fun little starfish. We have a green grass skirt. We have hibiscus flowers. It really all came together really nicely. And it's so whimsical and fun because, again, these DIYs that we're doing right now, I went for a tropical Christmas. And this is how it turned out. The little grass skirt Christmas tree. I think it turned out really pretty, and I can't wait to decorate with it again this year. What do you guys think about this one? I think it's really fun.
Okay, are you ready for another super easy Christmas DIY? I picked up 2 placemats from the Dollar Tree. I made sure to get 2 different ones that kind of coordinated, and that way I can have a reversible pillow. Now, I don't really use fabric placemats. I usually use a tablecloth if I'm going to use something. But I love making pillows out of these. They already have the seam, they're reinforced with back fabric, which is going to make them thicker. But if you can only find one and you kind of really like it, they are like double layers like this. So you could always cut the seam off one end like that, stuff the pillow and reseal it with hot glue, and you would only need one. But I found 2, and I can't decide which side I like better. I like them both. Happy holidays, very traditional Christmas. We're going to start here on the top of the placemat on the back of the back one and just do a bead of hot glue and then just match up my top one. And so we're doing back to back, just hot gluing that together, trying to keep my seam as tight as I can there so you don't really see the back. They are the exact same size. And I'm going to do the same thing over here on the right side. We're going to do 3 total sides, gluing that down to give us like a little pillowcase to DIY a holiday pillow. Now I'm also going to do like maybe half of this one, just leaving an open pocket there for this to stuff. Now Dollar Tree does have polyfill now. You don't get very much though, but I always have kind of a tradition that I always save old bed pillows so that I don't have to buy polyfill because I'm cheap. But you can get it at Dollar Tree now, so I was happy to see that. So I'm just unloading an old pillow and we're going to stuff this pillow. DIYing your own holiday pillow like this is so easy, and hot glue seems to hold up just fine. It's not like you're going to be washing this all the time anyway. I wonder how well they would hold up in the washer. But I usually do these like on my little hall tray in my entryway. Sometimes I even put them outside, like on my bench and my entryway out there. Just a cute little place where you want a holiday pillow. But you could always put them on your couch. This fabric is nice and soft, and it would be comfortable. Just a small pillow. And I kind of rearrange it, keep adding stuffing until I want it to be super full so that it is all filled out. So I'm just kind of checking it out, seeing if I have enough fluff in there, kind of wiggling it. This is the best time to arrange your fluff before you seal it. And then I'm going to hot glue it shut. So you kind of have to work fast with this. Put your hot glue down, try to get it lined up, try to keep the fluff out. And the little finger protectors from the Dollar Tree always work great so you don't scald yourself with hot glue. And that's all there is to it. I told you, quick and easy. We have a happy holidays, beautiful wreath on one side, and then we have like that holly print on the other side. So easy to do, and I think this is really cute for Christmas. Holiday pillows is one thing I usually don't save from year to year just because I don't have the storage space for them. So when I'm done with it, I usually donate mine. But this is how it turned out. This is the happy holiday side, which I can't decide which side I like better. I thought I would use that side, but you know what? Look how beautiful the holly side is of the pillow. Maybe I'll switch it up and it'll look like I have a different pillow there from time to time. So happy holidays, and the reverse side. So we have a reversible Christmas pillow DIY. Now for our next DIY, I wanted to do a Dollar Tree angel. So I'm going to use one of these beautiful glass bottles from Dollar Tree and one of the angel wings Christmas ornaments from Dollar Tree. And I thought we could do a little coastal Christmas angel by attaching the wings to the back of the bottle. It's just the right size. Now the bottle I'm using is one of the clear glass ones, but I thought we could always paint it. So I'm going to mix up some more of that paint that we were using. The
blue, the green, the white. I kind of mixed my own little custom color. And I'm just going over that beautiful textured glass bottle with that color. Now, like with the Shore Living line, they have some that are already kind of tinted this color. You could totally use those as well. That'd be really pretty. But I wanted this beautiful, like round gem on the top of mine to make a little angel head. And so I am just painting this one that I found just in the regular home decor section at Dollar Tree with like the glassware and candle holders and stuff like that. Now for the head of the angel, I just go in with like an ivory color and paint that all as well. That's going to be the little head of our angel. And just put that little stopper back in our little bottle. This DIY turned out so beautiful and it was so easy to do. I'm going to do a second coat to make sure you can't see any of the glass through and touch up the bottle as well. I think it's okay for the glass to kind of be exposed there along the collar. I think that's fine. And then I want mine to look coastal farmhouse, so I distress it all over with a little bit of ivory. This step is totally optional, but you guys know I love a good distress. Just wiping off the excess paint with a baby wipe, but you have to be careful because it is glass, so it is easy to take the paint off, but I still have my original color there, so I can kind of go back and distress it, touch it up as need be. So that's what our little angel looks like so far. And now it's time to attach our little angel wings. It's going to go right here at the base of the bottle really well. Just kind of looking to see where's the best place to glue it. I'm going to use hot glue to attach it and just try to make it as strong as I can. So I put some hot glue on the wings itself and on the bottle. Now, you're definitely going to have to give yourself a little bit of time here to glue that down. I also do a little bit extra hot glue on top to try to get that down in there, and it actually held up pretty well. You could always use a stronger adhesive if you wanted. I also glued those little angel tips there to the back. You won't be able to see that part, but just to help reinforce it a little bit. Once I got it all dried and set up, we can go ahead and stand up our little angel. It's looking very beachy and beautiful. And again, those little starfish, you guys know I love those. I thought that'd make the perfect finishing touch to make it a little coastal Christmas angel by gluing that one right there. No arms or anything like that. I just like the simple shape of the bottle and the little angel wings. You could do a little halo if you wanted to. I kind of like the simplicity of mine though, so I kind of left it as is. So here is my little coastal Christmas angel. Very beachy and blue. And it's a fun DIY, like a coastal Christmas version of this. I know lots of people make angels with these little angel wings from the Dollar Tree. Have you guys seen these new signs from the Dollar Tree? I love them. They have like a burlap background. I'm just going to pop off the little clip I don't need. It was just glued on. It's got a brown border with like little like brass rivets around there. It's already got a built-in stand and everything. And I thought this would be great to DIY with. We're going to use some of the macrame cord from the Dollar Tree, and I thought we could make a really cute little snowman on the side. The burlap background, the frame, the stand, all of that's already done. So I can just kind of decorate it however I want, and since it's a tall sign, I think a snowman's going to be perfect. I love this macrame cord. I love crafting with it. I stock up on this. I probably need to stock up on it more because I've used so much of it. What I want to do is just like spiral my little macrame cord, and we're going to do 3 circles to make our snowman. So I'm going to start here in the bottom. I'm going to just start right in the center of where I want my circle to be. And then I'm going to do a little circle of hot glue and squeeze those around. Go around and kind of repeat the process. My hot glue gun kind of shoots out a lot of hot glue, so I could kind of do a multiple rows on one shot of glue there, but I'm trying really hard not to get any glue on the top of the macrame cord because I find that it doesn't dry too nice, so I'm trying to avoid that if possible. And I'm just going to kind of have the end of it be here at the bottom because there definitely has to be an end to it, and I think that'll be fine. So I'm going to make sure I clean up any excess hot glue again. I don't want to get any on top because it kind of yellows, I've noticed, when it dries if you get any hot glue on top. Now for the second circle, I'm going to start in the middle again, And then I will stop when I get to the little circle for the snowman bottom. So again, I start in the middle. I do like a circle of hot glue, and all I am doing is just going around in circles with that, gluing that down. I thought it would be easier just to do it while it's attached to the sign rather than making these separate like little tiny coasters. Just make sure you don't burn yourself. This one I'm going to have like the seam kind of go up towards the top. I'm using my little hot glue finger protector there from Dollar Tree. It works great for stuff like this. And then I want the top circle of my snowman to be even smaller, so I didn't give myself quite as much room for this one. And we're gonna make a little snowman head. I wanted to make sure that I left myself plenty of room to make a little snowman hat. We're gonna make a very traditional like little snowman with this. And I have the seam there at the top on that one as well. I can kind of hide that a little bit probably with the hat, which we're going to make out of one of these little black leather bags from the Dollar Tree. I love crafting with these. So if you can't find like the faux leather at Dollar Tree, be sure to check out like the bags. Now I'm actually not using the leather because this has a brown leather frame. I thought that might kind of be distracting, so I'm actually using the black felt on the inside. I really like crafting with that too. And as you can see, I'm just cutting down a very simple little snowman hat, just kind of seeing what scale would fit my little snowman. And we're going to use it like felt side up, a little traditional black snowman hat. And we'll kind of like probably tilt it off to this side like that. Super cute. And I also want to kind of cover up that area up there where the little clip was glued on. Now for buttons, I'm using Dollar Tree buttons and just trying to find two of my tiniest black ones. He's not a very big snowman, so I want to get some of the smallest ones I can. I found two that I think will work. And then for the eyes, I need it to be even smaller. So I'm going to be using these little stickers from the Dollar Tree. I know they're hot pink, but you know what? You can always paint these, and that's what I'm going to do. So I'm just going to take two of those little stickers and paint them with some acrylic. I just go over mine with a couple coats of black acrylic, and we'll have two tiny little eyes because the snowman head is not big enough to have like little button eyes or anything like that. And I definitely wanted something besides paint for the eyes. Now, for the snowman nose, I was lucky enough to find some orange modeling clay at Dollar Tree, so I thought that would be perfect, but you can use whatever you have. If you have any of the model magic too, you can do that really easily. Making a carrot shape for the nose is so easy. It's just like a little V shape, if you will, like a carrot. I kind of made mine a little too big, so I'm just making mine a little bit smaller. And you can even make lines in the carrot with like your fingernails or something like that to kind of make it look realistic. I'm just kind of molding mine until it's perfect. And if you do have like the white model magic from Dollar Tree, you can't find the clay, you could totally use that too and just paint it orange. Now for the scarf for our little snowman, we are again using that little chair cover from Dollar Tree. And I just cut out a little strip. I just want to make a little tiny red scarf. And so I just cut out a little strip here and kind of straighten out the edges. Now it's time to decorate our snowman. So a little dot of hot glue for each one of my buttons. We're only going to do buttons on this middle part of the snowman body. And then we can also do his hat, his eyes, and his carrot nose, even his cute little scarf. So I did kind of want to cover that area up there at the top where there was a little clip, but I also kind of want my snowman hat to be at an angle a little bit. I think that's going to give him a little bit of character. So I think that looks pretty good. And this is pretty durable, so I'm just going to hot glue that on with no problem. Right where I want it. Now for the little face, we can just go ahead and attach that with hot glue too. We painted the little eyes black. Now, these are actually like little stickers, but I'm really not gonna trust the adhesive on them, especially since I kind of needed to clean it up a little bit to kind of get the extra paint off the edges. So I just attach mine with a little dot of hot glue on both. And we're not gonna do like a little smile or anything like that. I think the snowman's a little too tiny. I think he's just gonna have room for little eyes and of course that little carrot nose that we made out of clay. So I'm gonna hot glue it right there where it kind of points off to the side. Super cute and classic snowman looking. And now we can just go ahead and attach the scarf. I was trying to figure out how I was going to do it. I decided to cut mine like 2/3 and just go ahead and do that part. I kind of wanted to make it look like it's kind of blowing in the wind. And then I can cut down the tail part for the other part and kind of glue that coming straight down to the side. Now, right here, I thought I hit record, but I guess I just turned my camera on. But what you missed was I used some of the wire jute from Dollar Tree. I cut down 2 little arms for a snowman, hot gluing the ends so that it would not fray from the wire. And then I used twine for like the little hand, doing a little piece on the top and a little piece on the bottom of each one of my little wired jute. And it makes perfect little snowman arms to kind of fill out my snowman. Just trying to clean up any excess hot glue on there. I was trying to decide if I was going to save this bow. It's kind of cute, but I kind of would like to do something a little bit more Christmassy down here. So I just removed that with a little heat, and then I thought jingle bells would look really cute down there. They would coordinate nicely with like the rivets on the sides. And since there isn't any of those on the bottom, we could just use jingle bells instead. So these are kind of tied onto the string. I just want like the individual jingle bells. And so I'm going to do like the brass colored ones. So they'll kind of match the brass rivets on the sign. And I'm going to do 3 of them to go along the bottom of the little snowman sign. And I'm just going to attach them with hot glue. I'm going to have this one kind of pointing down. I'm going to have the other 2 kind of pointing up just to kind of make it random. And that part of the snowman sign is complete. I love that burlap sign. I'm glad I picked up a bunch of those. I first saw them a couple months ago down in Boca Raton, but now we have them at our stores here too. Now to decorate the base, I thought some of these little holly berries, they're kind of frosted. Greenery from the Dollar Tree would be cute. I'm going to do like just a couple of those little leaves, just cutting those apart individually. And some of the little frosted berries. I love that they look like they're covered in snow. And I'm just going to kind of hot glue those, kind of one going off to the side, kind of one coming out in the front. Just add a little Christmas flair. I'm also going to add the berries. I just have to cut off the stem on those to make them easy to attach. And I just kind of hot glue those right in between. And there it is, our little macrame snowman. I think he turned out so cute and was a great use for one of these new little frames from Dollar Tree. I think that is a great deal for $1.25 because the frame is done, the sign, the stand is done, the burlap is done, and everything. And you can just add whatever you want to it. And how sweet is that little macrame snowman? Complete with some jingle bells and some Christmas greenery at the bottom. I love him. He's so sweet. Now, this is the Dollar Tree Christmas Believe sign. I thought we could give it a little coastal Christmas makeover. Just trying to remove the back from it. You know that these things can be really tricky. They kind of pop them apart. I was trying to use a little heat glue and a putty knife to try to kind of pry the back off mine so that we can DIY it and make it look a little bit more coastal. So I just use heat and try to carefully take the back off this. I had better luck with this one than I've had on other ones. And it has like this Christmas like holly print on the back. That's what I want to replace, make that look more tropical. But I love the little Believe sign. I think that's going to look really cute sitting next to the little gnome. We're going to use that same tropical removable wallpaper from the Dollar Tree. If you can't find this, you could always use like a blue color, kind of do your own kind of tropical thing. Or I'm sure you could probably find some coastal looking scrapbook paper, but probably not at Dollar Tree, unfortunately. And I'm just going to peel and stick, if I can find the corner on that, our little rectangle piece on there. And that's going to make it go nicely with some of the other decor pieces that we've done that tropical pattern with. And I'm just going to reattach the back onto the little Believe sign with some hot glue. And lay that right on top. Now I like the red with the blue and the green tropical print. I didn't really like the shade of the red that they use though, so I thought I could brighten it up a little bit, but this is what it looks like so far. I just went over mine, with a little bit brighter red color. Wasn't sure which color would be brighter, and I think this like firehouse red is a little bit brighter, but this is just me being extra just to make it a little bit brighter red. So I just taped mine off and updated the color. And I did have to tape it down with some painter's tape to protect that beautiful wood frame. But this is what it looks like now. And then for one more coastal touch, I thought maybe a little Dollar Tree sand dollar here in the corner would look cute, and I just glue that to the frame. Super fun for coastal Christmas, and I do appreciate the pops of reds that I'm using in this cabinet that we're decorating for Christmas.
And I'm actually going to display this with a cute little Santa Claus gnome that I'm also going to make next with supplies from the Dollar Tree.
Now for the next DIY, I'm just using one of these little gnomes from the Dollar Tree. This is the little red gnome, but I thought we could make him look like Santa. So I just drew like some little white lines to give a little bit of varied color to his beard to make it look super fluffy. And it has like the little Christmas trees all over it. I thought it was a little glossy for my liking, so I'm just toning mine down a little bit with some matte Mod Podge to make it look a little bit more matte colored. But that step is totally optional. I think he already looks like Santa because he has like a white beard and a red hat, but we're just going to add a few more touches to him to kind of up the Santa vibe. I love crafting with these little gnomes from the Dollar Tree. They seem to have these for every season at the Dollar Tree, but this is kind of the Christmas version. If you had one that doesn't have the Christmas trees, you could always just paint the hat red to make him look like Santa. That's what he looks like so far, but I thought he needed like the little brim for his little Santa hat. And again, I'm going to use some of the pom-pom trim from the Dollar Tree, and I'm just going to cut off the pom-poms to give me a little white strip. I thought that would work great for the brim of his little Santa hat. So I'm just going to hot glue that like right there along the edges of his hat, just to give him a little bit more Santa vibe. Not a whole lot to do to make this little guy look like Santa. And I'm going to use this like in my cabinet with these other like blue and red tropical Christmas decor ideas. And I'm going to show you here in the final reveal a little bit later how all this came together and how I display everything with my Christmas decor. So I just glued it all the way around like that. I think that's going to work really well. It's not fluffy or anything, but you know what? I think it does the job. And then I can use one of the little pom-poms for a little hat topper by gluing that to the tip of his little gnome hat. And I think he looks like Santa Claus. What do you think? Just a super easy update to the little red gnome to kind of make a Santa version. They should kind of go with it. They should make him look like Santa already, I think. Super easy and cute. This is how he looks. Now for the next home decor DIY, we're going to make coasters. I found a 3-pack of circular ones at Target Dollar Spot, but you could totally make these with the square ones from Dollar Tree. They're really easy just to redo. It doesn't matter which one you get because you can just cover up the image on them. I designed 3 printables to make coasters, the family truckster, and why is the carpet all wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot. The famous neighbors from Christmas Vacation. And I, again, designed these as squares, so you can definitely use these on square coasters from the Dollar Tree, but they work for circles as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut these down to size. I printed these out on cardstock, and of course I will include a free printable so you can recreate these. If you wanted to make Christmas ornaments with these as well, that'd be super cute. I did a really fun red and green Christmas sweater pattern on the back of each one of them. I'm going to lay my little Dollar Spot coaster right on top and just using a pencil to sketch that out so we can go ahead and start cutting that down to size. I did a white circle on all of mine and then did the sweater prints for the background to give it a fun bit of Christmas flair. And I did them all kind of in the same colors of red and green to make them coordinate nicely together. So we're just going to go ahead and cut them all down to size. I made mine like exactly the same size. So it was a little tight fit here on the edges, and I just really had to cut off the corners on these. And it doesn't have to be perfect. I just want to cover as much of the top of the coaster as I can. And I love doing themed coasters. They're so fun. The ones I have out right now are the coastal Thanksgiving ones that I designed with all the pumpkins on the beach. And I did those with the square Dollar Tree coasters. And we got all 3 of these cut out. The neighbors were so funny in that movie. Oh my gosh. And having Clark as a neighbor has got to be a little challenging. So I'm going to do a nice thick coat of Mod Podge all over, put the little cardstock that we designed right here on top, and smooth that down. And then we can just go in and start sealing the top of it with Mod Podge. You can use Mod Podge on the top of these. I do go in and kind of weatherproof these as much as I can to make them as waterproof as I can. And there are different kinds of Mod Podge. You could always use like a dishwasher safe Mod Podge or something like that on top too. That would work. And we're going to do the same thing here with I Don't Know Margot. And again, I told you we were going to use this image again. This is a little family truckster with that fun tree on top. And we're going to go ahead and Mod Podge that one down as well. This would be a great gift idea too. Something else that you could give as a set if you didn't want to use them for your own home. And again, I'm going to Mod Podge on the top of all of these. Probably not going to have anything hot on the coasters, mainly cold drinks. And so I just do a thin coat of Mod Podge on all of those. And then we're going to go in and dry those. And then I will also show you how I seal mine a little bit better to make sure they're going to be waterproof. Again, the cardstock is paper, so I don't want it to get wet. I also go in with a sanding block here to make sure I get any excess paper that may be hanging over the edge. If I didn't get it cut perfectly or applied perfectly, I don't want any excess paper. I really want them to look more professional. And the cardstock's a little hard to sand off, but if you go over it a couple times, it will definitely kind of shave it down right exactly how you need it to be. And those look pretty good. I am going to go over it with one more coat of Mod Podge to help seal it on there. Sometimes too much Mod Podge wants to come out. I don't know. I always squeeze it out. I think it's like the consistency of paint. And it's way thinner than paint, so I need to be careful with how much I apply. But I was able to use it almost all and get that on there. We're going to go in and dry that. And then again, we're going to give the final seal. I'm just using some clear matte Rust-Oleum 2x Ultra Cover. This stuff works great for coasters, and I'm just going to go over the top of all of them with one coat. It's going to seal them and make them all waterproof. I really don't like using spray paint near my camera because I'm always afraid I'm going to get some on there, but with the clear, I think I can do it. So I sprayed those all, gave those a nice dry, and we have a set of Christmas Vacation coasters. I love those quotes. And here is our set of Christmas Vacation coasters. And why is the carpet all wet, Todd? I don't know, Margot. So cute and funny and festive for the holiday season. And I love things like this that you can actually, decor pieces that you can actually use. They're very functional.
I really hope you enjoyed today's 30 Christmas Dollar Tree DIYs. These were so fun to put together, and let me know which one was your favorite down in the comments below. You can definitely have more than one. And you can find me at Crafty Beach on YouTube on all social media. And this is a QR code that you can use your phone camera if you would like to buy me a coffee. Enjoy the final reveal.
Merry Christmas, baby. Reindeer's coming out to play. Santa Claus is packing the presents, making sure you've been behaving okay. Merry Christmas, honey. Yeah. The snowman's dusting off his hat, putting on the show for everybody, to give them a smile that lasts another year. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Ooh, yeah. There's room at the table for big and for small. All the fire is popping, the chestnuts are cracking, yeah. Merry Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas, baby. The snow is laying 2 feet deep. Now wish upon a falling star, so all your secret dreams can come true. There's something that happens when sleigh bells are ringing, when December ends, when the children are singing, yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Ooh, yeah. There's room at the table for big and for small. All the fire is popping, the chestnuts are cracking, yeah. Merry Christmas, baby. There's something that happens when something that happens when December ends, when December ends, yeah. Oh, it's Merry Christmas, baby. Merry Christmas, baby. It's Merry Christmas, Merry Christmas. It's Merry Christmas, baby. Yeah. It's Merry Christmas, baby.
Hold up, I am on my way. I'm in motion. Let's go to the ocean. Yeah, let's go outside. We can hang out on the beach without freezing. Yeah, isn't that amazing? In Christmas times, we'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart. And I can promise Santa's coming to visit. No, he wouldn't miss this in Christmas times. Oh, and the sun said it is just getting better on a blanket with the skyline painted in blue. Ooh, yeah, that's what we do. We'll be chilling and having a good time. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You ready? Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart.
Here we go. All right.
Dance, dance,
Now this
dance,
Christmas, we're gonna dance.
we're gonna
Okay.
dance, dance, dance,
Come on.
dance. We're gonna dance, dance, have a good time. Dance, dance, all night long. We're gonna dance, dance, and have a good time. I think think Santa's gonna come and join us in this song. Doesn't matter if the snow is falling, or the wind blows and the rain is pouring. It will always be Christmas in my heart. But this year I wanna hang out with my friends and family, making angels in the sand. You and me. Doesn't matter, it is Christmas in my heart.
Jingle bells ringing in my ear. Jingle bell, a sound that's oh so dear. Frosty the snowman is all around town. Watch out for reindeers are falling down. We stay up waiting for Santa tonight. He climbs down the chimney at the speed of light, while we're dancing around the Christmas tree, hugging and kissing just you and me. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to house to wish us all a Merry Christmas Day. Oh, a Merry Christmas Day. Oh. We're chasing snowflakes as they're falling down, and follow Rudolph all across the town. Later we meet under the mistletoe, while Santa's busy saying ho ho ho. We're feeling jolly, eating Christmas cake, and then we go skating on the frozen lake, saying hi to every friendly face, and later we warm up by the fireplace. Carolers are singing outside our door, lovely songs we all heard before, as they walk from house to
Thank you so much for making it all the way to the end of today's Christmas crafting marathon. I also want to give a huge thank you to my YouTube members for supporting my channel. Thank you so much to Melinda Elizabeth, Jamie Job, Janae Farrington, Pamelia Wren, Donna Schreiner, I Am Mojo Jojo, Maren Christensen, Adrian Brolt, Debbie Middleton, Red Mama, Pal Puppy Life, Renee Albanese, Jenny, Debbie Austin, James Osborne, and Lizette Thomas. They all get the benefit of early ad-free access to my YouTube videos, and it's an easy way for you to support your favorite YouTube creators. Now, if you would like even more Christmas inspiration, be sure to check out one of these Christmas DIY videos right here. And until next time, happy crafting for Christmas.